Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the all-new iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. It's redesigned, at least the camera module is anyway, and we have some fun new colors. We have Ultramarine that we have here with the 16 Plus, Teal in the iPhone 16, along with pink, white, and black. They start at $799 and go up to $1,199. We have 128, 256, and 512 gigabyte options for storage. Now let's go ahead and unbox them. So we'll go ahead and flip this one over, just like the 16 Pro and Pro Max. We have these pull tabs here. Let's go ahead and pull the bottom one off. We'll do the same on the Plus as well. And let's go ahead and see what's in the box. This is the first time seeing these colors, and much more vibrant than last year. So let's see what's in the box and then we'll take a closer look. So of course we have the phones themselves, and just like the Pro and Pro Max, we have an oval loop as far as the overall USB-C to USB-C cable. So you can see that here, USB-C to USB-C, and we have oval sort of literature or paperwork, and you'll see here it just says you no longer need a physical SIM, just like the other one. And we have a little warranty or safety and handling card. That's it. That's all we get in the box this year. No charger. Now, I did hear of some people in India who lined up and got them, got free chargers sometimes if they asked. But as far as in the United States anyway, it doesn't look like we get those free. Now let's set these aside. Let's pull off the front here off the glass. There we are. We'll do the same on the 16 Plus. And let me put the boxes away and we'll take a closer look. Now the phones themselves have a really nice color this year. On the outside edge, you can see this here where it's a little bit darker. It's a matte finish. It's also a matte finish on the back. If I bring in the 15, you'll see on the sides here, it's basically the same, but on the back we had very light colors. I used to call them cloud blue or cloud green. I think the new one looks a lot nicer. Of course, the camera module is much larger and also lined up for spatial video or spatial photos at least. Now, as far as the overall size of them, well, the overall dimensions are identical. So if we take a look side by side, the dimensions are pretty much exactly spot on, but the weight is slightly different. So if we put these side by side like this, you'll see they're pretty much the same in every way there, with the exception of the new camera control we'll take a look at in just a moment. As far as the overall weight of the devices, the iPhone 16 comes in at 6.0 ounces or 170 grams, where the 16 Plus is 7.03 ounces or 199 grams. They're slightly lighter than last year's models. If we take a look around the outside edge, we've got that nice matte finish. I really like this year. Power sleep wake with our camera control here. On the bottom, we have our USB-C microphone and speaker. On the left-hand side, this time around, we have an action button and we have the volume buttons. So we're not lacking any physical buttons that we have with the Pro models this year. So overall, pretty nice. Let's go ahead and turn them on. So we'll wait for them to boot up. We have the same displays this year. There's no increase in size or anything like that. So 6.7 inches, 6.1 inch. Wait for it to boot up here. Now let me get both of these set up. So I'll go ahead and use my other iPhone, but I'll start with the iPhone 16. We'll go ahead and connect the accounts. It will get things ready here. Now we'll put in the passcode of the other phone, and it says setting up your iPhone. So we'll give it just a moment here, and it will activate on this phone. It asked if I wanted to set up an eSIM. I don't on this phone. I'll keep it in my 16 Pro Max. We'll tap continue on data and privacy. Then we have to set up Face ID. So we'll tap continue and get this set up. Just position our face in here and quickly move our head around. This is much faster than it used to be, or at least it seems like it is from years ago. We won't use it with a face mask this time, but if we need to in the future, we can change that. Then we'll tap continue. Now it says transfer data from the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I want to set it up as new just with the basic settings. So it's going to set up my account now and then sign me in. I have to agree to the terms and conditions. Then it will continue to sign me in here. I'm setting both phones up at the same time and you'll see it says make this your new phone. So we'll go ahead and customize as I don't want to connect the watch here. Let's go ahead and just set this up and don't transfer anything. That way it'll set it up as new. So we'll go ahead and go to the next step here. So now we'll tap continue And then it says update your iPhone automatically. We'll only download automatically. Then we can enable location services for things like maps. We'll turn that on, and then we can transfer a phone number if we want to. We'll set this up later in settings. I'll skip this like I did earlier. Now it's going over the latest iPhone 16 controls. So it's got the new camera control, and it says click the camera control to open the camera app, then click again to use the camera control as a shutter. We'll tap continue. It's just pointing it out again where we can press it. We'll tap continue again, and then it's asking if I want to continue in a beta program. I don't on this phone, so we'll just tap don't continue, but if you do, you can continue there. And then it's letting us know about emergency SOS. We'll tap continue, and it says welcome to iPhone. Now the phones are all fully set up and ready to go, and we'll talk about all the features in just a moment. But one of the biggest updates this time around is actually the camera. We have a vertical layout now with a new 48 megapixel fusion camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and now we can take spatial photos, macro photos, and it has an anti-reflective coating to help with flares and other things on the lens. It even has additional features we'll take a look at in a moment, but the latest iPhones actually have the promise of being designed for Apple Intelligence, but it's not available yet. But many of these photo editing features and more are actually available from today's sponsor, Luminar Mobile. The photo editing app is actually packed with AI features, making editing photos simple and great on the go. If you don't want to edit this yourself, just tap on the AI button and it will choose for you. You can actually move the slider to enhance this more or less as you choose, and you can even go in and swap the sky if you want to. Just tap and it swaps the sky. Tap another one and it swaps the sky again. You can even go in and apply your own unique style or look using one of the filters. So swap between different filters that work best for you, and you can adjust this as well. If we take a look at another photo, and on this other photo, we can apply maybe a different sky with clouds, and it even gets behind some of the trees as well. You can do this and more with Luminar Mobile on photos that don't support Apple Intelligence as well. You can try it free for 7 days, and then it's around $11 for 6 months. Go download the app and try it for yourself with the link in the description. Now, the new camera capture button is something that I think is sort of helpful, but will take some time to get used to. Press it once to open the camera, and of course you can see here we're right in the camera. Press it lightly, you feel some haptic feedback, and then you can adjust whatever setting you're in. So if we want to go back here, let's go back, press it again twice, and then we can select between maybe zoom. Press it to select and then zoom in or zoom back out. You can zoom all the way in to 10 times, digital zoom, and then zoom back out with some nice haptic feedback. Double press again, and then maybe we could switch over to exposure or maybe camera styles. So if we take a photo here, we take the photo, tap the screen, then we actually have different options for camera styles, which this is a little bit difficult to use from time to time, but go in here and then we can adjust this in real time ahead of taking the photo. Or we can just swipe through some of the ones that they've already selected. So mood, you'll see different things such as dramatic, luminous, and much more. And they're all adjustable with different sliders here. So if you want to use these and sort of control everything yourself, bring back some of the shadows, you can. Now, if we go back, and then we go back out of this and go into video. Within video, we have some different options here. So let's switch to 4K. We have up to 4K 60. So not 4K 120 here though. Of course, you can see we have macro mode. So if we get close, we can get very close to a different subject, zoom in with macro, and use that on whatever you'd like. It's now on the regular models as well. So I think the new camera control button is helpful. I'm not sure how many people will use it, but it does seem to be something if you get used to it. And once it actually comes out with an update, you'll be able to press halfway to actually focus as well. We're waiting for that update still. Now, as far as the software itself, let's go into settings and we can see some settings for camera. And in camera, we have camera control where we can change it just like on the Pro models with a single click, double click. If you think you're accidentally going to press it, you could bring up the code scanner, magnifier, or none. Of course, on this device, we now have the action button as well, and that can be assigned to whatever you'd like, whether that's a flashlight or camera or whatever you choose. So I'll leave it on flashlight, press and hold, it opens the flashlight. So all of the things the Pro model has, but let's go ahead and check the version we have, and then we'll talk about the display. If we go into settings again, we'll go back, and then if we go to general, then about, And both of these come pre-installed with build number 22A3351, and we do have a software update. So there's a day one update when you go ahead and set these up for the first time, but you won't have to install that update as you're actually setting it up. If we go into software update, you'll see the update here. It's again just iOS 18, but an update to the version that's already pre-installed. Now, as far as the wallpaper, it's a little bit odd that they actually set the version that they did. So if we go in here, press and hold, and then we'll add a new one. Let's go down to the wallpaper that goes with this device. So we'll go in, you'll see the different styles here. So we have them to match the actual devices: black, white, pink, teal, and ultramarine. So let's set the corresponding wallpaper on both devices. Now, one thing we don't have with these are upgraded displays. It's still 60 Hertz. So if we go back here, if we go to display and brightness, you'll see that we don't have an option to actually change anything as far as always on display. While it is very nice and smooth and fast because it has that new A18 processor, it's definitely not as smooth as the Pro models. So that's something that's noticeable if you're coming from the Pro model. Something else they've updated this with, of course, is the processor I just mentioned, and we can see how much RAM it has. So if we open up Geekbench 6, we'll give it just a moment, we have 8 gigs of RAM, the same as the Pro models this time, with the same CPU speed at 4.04 gigahertz. However, we'll test the benchmarks in a little bit as the phone's fairly warm right now. Now with the battery, despite many of the rumors early on, we do get an upgrade in both models this year. With the iPhone 16, we have 3,561 milliamp hours. That's up about 6%. And the iPhone 16 Plus has 4,674 milliamp hours. Again, up about 6.5%. So in general, it should get more battery life. We're not sure what that is, maybe an hour more. We'll have to test it out. We also have Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.3. Charge speeds on these should be pretty good. We do have 25 watt fast charging via the MagSafe adapter with the braided cable. That's the easiest way to tell, and it's slightly thinner, but we'll have to test out overall charge speeds and see what kind of battery life we get as well. Now let's take a look at the forward-facing camera as well, see if it's any different. Now let's spin around the camera and hit record. This is the forward-facing camera on the iPhone 16 Plus, and this has the same 4 microphone modes that we have on the Pro models as well. So we've got standard that you're listening to right now, and we also have in-frame. In-frame is a little bit different. Additionally, we have studio, so this is what studio sounds like. So in my studio, it should sound nice and quiet, maybe compared to this mic down here. And we also have cinematic mode. So let me know what you think of it in the comments below. So that gives you an idea of what it should sound like with the camera. Again, those same modes that we have on the Pro models as well. When it comes to performance, general apps, of course, are going to be nice and fast. They're fairly smooth, and unless you're coming from a 120 Hertz ProMotion display, you won't notice the difference. If we go into things such as camera, and then just try and maybe take photos as fast as we can, you'll see it actually keeps up pretty well. If I go faster, it keeps up, maybe lags behind just a little bit as you increase the amount of photos you're taking. It does actually heat the phone up quite a bit just going into the camera and taking photos that fast though. As far as anything else with performance, it will take time to test, but let's take a look at the Geekbench scores and see what we have here. So we'll run benchmarks and just see what we get. The benchmarks completed, and as you can see, they both scored pretty well. 2,871 for single core for the highest for that, and 7,215 for multi-core. Now it will go up over time, but to compare that with the Pro phones, I actually ran that again, and you'll see it's a little bit higher, 3,140 and 7,690. And it does go a little bit higher than that. As they're processing in the background, it will take some time, and I do expect it to increase in speed. Now, overall, it does seem to get a little bit warm, and let's take a look at that briefly, as it should handle some thermals a little bit better, more so on the Pro phones, but let's see what we've got. So on the 15, we're at about, I saw 97 degrees Fahrenheit or 36.2 degrees Celsius. On the 16 Plus, again, close to the same heat, but it may dissipate heat a little better, about 35.6 or 96 degrees Fahrenheit. So overall, it's doing okay. Definitely a little bit warmer than what we had on the Pro phones, it seems. Now, there's a lot more to talk about with both of these phones, and it will take some time to actually do some of the testing. They do go down to 1 nit, so that's really the only display difference, but we have most of the same features we do with the Pro phones. the capture button or camera capture. We also have an upgraded processor. We'll get Apple Intelligence. We have better microphones, better cameras, and much more. So let me know what you think of these new phones. I really like the colors and do wish that it had a 120 hertz display at this price, but I don't think people buying these phones will care that much. But either way, at that price, I think it should be an option. But other than that, let me know if there's anything specifically you'd like to see in the review video. And of course, if you'd like to get your hands on these wallpapers, I'll link these in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.